to complete numbers 4 and 5 on the Growing Plant Summative, you will need to launch the gizmo. So click on the title, and that's a link to the gizmo. Make sure that you log in, and I'm logging in as an educator, and launch the gizmo. And now you are setting up this gizmo using your setup from number 3. So for me, this is my setup, so I need to do these on the gizmo so that I can collect data. So looking at this, I used a bean plant. I did 60 milliliters of water for all of them. I used fertilizer on all of them. And then my independent variable is the amount of light. So I turned off all my lights. For pot A, I turned off all my lights for pot A. I think I only did, let me check for pot B, I only had 1 light on. For pot C, I have 2 lights on, and for pot D, I had all lights on. So I'm going to do this 3 times. So here's my first trial, and I am measuring the height. Okay, and I'm looking at this one. This is the data that I'm looking for, the height. So I'm going to record those into my data table. So on my data table, I need to change amount of soil because the amount of soil is not my IV. The amount of soil is the number of lights for my example, right? So whatever your IV is, you need to change this. And then I will put in my IV here, my IV setup. So for pot A, I have 0, pot B is 1, pot C is 2, and then pot D are 3 lights. Okay, so for my first trial, here are my numbers: 34.6, 48.5, 64.1, and 50.6. Okay, and then after that, I go back to my gizmo, I click reset, and then I hit play. So I have collected data from all 4 pots 3 times. So I had my first trial, my second trial, and my third trial. The next step would be creating a bar graph using my data. So I select the last 4 columns. Do not select the pot column. So Control C, and then I open up a Google Sheet. So here's my Google Sheet. I open it up. And then from there, I just copy I just paste what I copied from my Google Doc. And keeping it selected, click on Insert Chart. And that is a scatter chart. So I don't want a scatter chart. So according to my chart type, I'm going to make it into a column chart. Okay, and that's what I want. And I can change the title. So the title would be IV versus DV. So this will be number of lights versus height of bean plant. Okay, and now I copy my chart by clicking on the 3 dots, and then I go back to my Google Doc and I click on the orange box and I paste it. And I paste it, and that is what I have. Okay, so last thing that you need to fill out would be conclusions. What did you discover? Why do you think it happened that way? So looking at the data, what did you learn from your data? So for me personally, I was surprised that the bean plant still grew even though there was no light. Okay, so I can write down, I discovered that the bean plant can still grow even without light. Why did I think it happened that way? I think it happened because the bean plant still received nutrients from the soil. However, without the light, there were no leaves on the bean plant. All right, so draw a conclusion, however you interpreted your data, and see what you discovered, and share that on number 5.